That's
okay. Beautiful. Well, everyone, welcome to Rays of Healing Church. Appreciate your being here tonight. And we are blessed tonight with Donald, who is a hypnotherapist from Kensington, Maryland. He works with his clients to resolve their difficult issues and transform their lives using hypnosis and neuro-linguistics. He was born in Kansas City, and he moved to Montgomery County, Maryland in 1986. He's been a math professor and a software developer as well. So he is active in a lot of different places where he's supporting his community. He sings, he plays tennis, and I'm thrilled to have Donald come tonight to teach us more about NLP and hypnosis. Thank you and welcome, Donald.
Well, thank you, Reverend Wendy. So I do this monthly class in Maryland. Here we have an organization called Hope Connections for Cancer. So I do a monthly class there now online, which is called Hypnosis for Symptom Relief. And a lot of what I'm going to do is what I do in that class. So the way I like to start out is to ask, does anybody have any pain right now? Is anybody hurting? Nobody. Well, that's good. With my cancer people, it's almost always yes. Okay, so that's fine. Who here has experience with hypnosis? Reverend Wendy, Barb, and Rachel? Okay. So who's wondering what I'm going to do tonight? Everybody.
All of us.
Yeah, some experience. Okay.
Are we doing NLP tonight too?
Well, yes, and I'll explain both of them, hypnosis and NLP. But I'd like to start out talking about hypnosis, and then NLP will flow out of that. So hypnosis is an altered state. We usually think of it as a trance state. That's not always apparent. Somebody can be in hypnosis and they're not obviously in a trance, like slumped over with their eyes closed, but we usually think of it that way. So does anybody read a lot? Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'm wondering if you've had this experience, you're reading a book and you're really into the book, and somebody comes up to you and says something, and at first you don't even notice them, or you're startled. Has that ever happened?
All the time.
Yeah, it's a pretty common experience. So your experience, if you're experiencing the descriptions in the book on some level, if it's fiction, you're involved with the characters, you're involved with the plot, you might even be emotionally involved, and you're shutting out everything else out. You're in your own little bubble with the book. So that's a trance. It's a bona fide trance. We even use the word, we talk about an entrancing novel or a hypnotic story. Or say you're driving. So you're driving along and your mind is going, you're thinking about something. And all of a sudden, you realize you've gone several miles and you don't know how you got there. Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So some part of you is driving. It's not the conscious part of you, but whatever it is, it knows how to drive. You're watching the other traffic, you're adjusting your speed, you're even changing lanes. You might have missed an exit or a turn, but basically this part of you that's driving, which is not the conscious part of you, knows how to drive. Or say you're watching a movie. So to enjoy this movie, there's a couple things you have to do. You have to focus on the movie. And you also have to, if you're going to enjoy the movie, you have to go around that part of your mind that's always picking things apart. We say you suspend disbelief. Because if you don't do that, you can't enjoy the movie. I mean, think about it. These are actors. And they're saying lines that they've learned, and they're in costumes, they're in makeup, they're on a set. There's a lighting crew, there's a sound crew. Somebody directed this movie. Somebody wrote it. There was a screenwriter. And maybe there were rewrites and people fought over them. But you put all that out of your mind so you can enjoy the movie. And in doing that, you put yourself in a very suggestive state. So if they want you to jump, you jump. If they want you to feel sad, you might want to cry. Why? You're an adult, you're intelligent, you know it's not real, but you do it on purpose. You do it deliberately. You put yourself in that state so that you can enjoy the movie. At the same time, no matter how much you're into the movie, you're always aware on some level that you're sitting there watching a movie. Right? If they start shooting in the movie, you duck under your chair, do you hit the floor? Do you?
No.
No, you might be startled though.
You might be startled, yeah. Not unless you got really bad PTSD. Or say the dinosaur comes on the screen. Do you run out of the theater screaming, believing you're about to get eaten? Well, you might if it were a real dinosaur, but you know on some level that you're sitting there watching a movie. And in hypnosis, in a deeper state of trance, you're always aware on some level that you're sitting there in an altered hypnotic state. And if there's ever anything that doesn't suit you for any reason, either you'll just ignore it or you'll come out of hypnosis completely. Even the language we use is not quite right. We say, I hypnotize you. But actually, I don't do anything to you. You're doing it. I guide you, I instruct you, I help you to access that altered state that's part of your mental equipment. But you're the one doing it. I'm just the guide. I tell my clients, I'm going to show you new ways to use your mind, to use your brain. Now, what's NLP? NLP was developed starting in the early 70s by some people at, where I think it was Santa Cruz in California. And it was originally intended to kind of codify what certain therapists were doing. Fritz Perls was one, the guy who developed Gestalt. Another one was Virginia Satir, a famous family therapist, and then later Milton Erickson, a famous psychiatrist and hypnotherapist. And the idea was if you could distill what they were doing and then present it in a way that anybody who studied it could do the same thing, get the same results. And the idea was that each of us, we don't operate on the world directly. Each of us has a model, a mental model of the world. And that problems people have, the unhappiness, pain, all kinds of problems are the result of, you could say, distortions in our mental model. When our model of the world doesn't really fit what's out there in reality. It's off somehow. So NLP was originally designed to help people change that. So it's an understanding of how each of us creates our own model of reality and ways to modify that model so that it works better for us in terms of our feelings, thoughts, behaviors, and how we experience the world. Now that's kind of an abstract definition, but it's various ways kind of to help you change the way you interact with reality. And actually, I consider it, most of what we do in NLP is hypnosis by another name. So let me ask again, does anybody have experiencing any pain right now? Anybody at all? Like, you know, your shoulder hurts or your lower back? Barb, are you, Elizabeth.
Right. Okay.
Go ahead. Well, I often have knee pain.
You have it now?
Not so much now, but earlier today I did.
Okay, I'm hoping this, I hope nobody has any pain, but if you do, is there anybody experience, Barb?
Yeah, I pulled my groin muscle.
Uh-huh.
I'm being treated for that.
Okay, so you've seen a doctor.
Right.
Okay, so let me say a little bit about pain, and then I'm going to show you a typical NLP method to relieve pain. So first of all, pain involves a signal, and it might be from a nerve, usually is from a nerve, but that's not the pain. The suffering is not the signal. The suffering, the pain is what your brain does with that signal. And we have the capacity to modify that or even, in some circumstances, ignore it. So let me give you an example. A young woman is driving in her car and she has a baby, a newborn baby in the back seat, in a baby carrier. She goes through an intersection, the light is green. Somebody runs a red light and bam, slams right into her. So what's the first thing she's going to do after the accident?
Check the baby.
She's going to check on the baby. Yeah, she unbuckles her seatbelt. She turns around, twists around, checks on the baby. The baby seems to be okay. And only then does she realize that her arm is broken. Where was the pain when she was checking on the baby? Anybody?
Out of her awareness.
Right, exactly. She had more important things to attend to. And as soon as that was taken care of, then her brain or her body allowed her to experience the pain. So we have that capability. Now, you don't always want to use it. Sometimes pain is a signal, and sometimes it's a useful signal. If you sprain your ankle, the pain is telling you something important. It saying, be careful. You don't want to hurt your ankle. Don't walk on that ankle. You might hurt it some more, right? If you have a toothache, you should go to a dentist. Could be, you can take a Tylenol or something, but basically if you have a toothache, go get it treated. That's what I'm saying. That's why I asked Barb, have you seen a doctor about this?
Yes.
Because sometimes pain could be an indication of a condition that needs some medical attention, and you should respect that. But Barb, so right now, this muscle, did you say it's in your groin?
Yeah, I pulled the muscle.
Okay. So given that you're going to still be kind of careful of it, would it be okay if it felt better?
Yes.
Okay, so here's what I'd like you to do. And any of you can go along for the ride if you want. So Barb, close your eyes. And I'd like you to go into that area of your groin and tell me what color it is in there. Or
It's
even,
red.
it's what?
Red.
Red, okay. What would be a better color? A more comfortable color?
Much lighter shade of red.
A much lighter shade of red. Okay. So just go inside there and starting with the red, just allow that red to begin to fade. That's right. And fade some more. And some more. And just let me know when it reaches just that right shade of light, very light red.
I'd say it's there.
Okay. And I want you to spread that light red all around that area. Just spread it around. The muscles, even the bones, the tendons. Just spread it around. That's right. And just sit with that for a few moments. Light red. Just enjoy that light red. And when you're ready, just open your eyes and tell us how it feels.
It feels fine. And it's interesting because as I spread it, I felt the edges.
Uh-huh.
So I actually felt having to push it further out.
Uh-huh.
Because what I envisioned was a much smaller spot.
Right.
And I realized that it was much further out than I thought.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, cool.
Good, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So let's see, what am I, oh, I messed up. Hold on. What did I do here? Oh, here's what I want to do. Yeah, okay. So what did we do? And this is kind of a typical NLP type intervention. So first of all, let me ask, was this hypnosis? What do you think? Did I hypnotize Barb?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say it was. Mm-hmm. First of all, can you really go inside your groin and look around and see what color it is?
No, but I can visualize.
Yeah, right. So we invoked your imagination.
Okay.
Okay. And then, so the pain is in the feeling. We have 5 sensory modalities, right? Mm-hmm. Feeling, that's kinesthetic, visual, auditory, what we hear, also smell and taste. So when I asked you what color it was, you moved it out of the feeling, the kinesthetic realm, mm-hmm. into the visual. And I had you change it there. Mm-hmm. And that reflects back on the kinesthetic. Yeah. So that's a typical, that is, I would consider it hypnosis, and it's a typical kind of NLP intervention. One woman, again with pain, we changed the color. It didn't work very well for her. I asked her what the pain was like. She said it's like a knife stabbing me. I said, okay, visualize that knife and imagine that the edges kind of softening and melting. And she did that, and that relieved the pain. Another person, so Barb, if that hadn't worked, I had 3 or 4 backups. One woman I worked with, the pain, changing the color helped, but it didn't completely relieve it. So I asked, and then I realized, this is a client, so I knew something about her. I realized this woman is a musician. She plays guitar and sings in a band. And so I asked her, what sound does it make? What note, what chord? And I had her change that to something better. And that took the pain away completely. I've had, so we did this in the auditory realm. Somebody asked me once if you could do it in the gustatory, in taste, what's it taste like? And I said, well, I've never done it, but especially if I was working with somebody who was very attuned to taste, like if I was working with a chef or a gourmet, that might work too. What's the taste of the pain? What would be a better taste or flavor? And then change it. A few years ago, a couple years ago, it was my 40th wedding anniversary.
Wow.
I guess, what am I going on now? 44? Yeah, 44 in December. Anyhow, I was cooking a special dinner in my broiler. When I went to take it out, my thumb, somehow I managed to touch the pan with my thumb, and I got a really bad burn. So at first I held it under cold water, and that didn't help much. So then I said to myself, well, let's change the color. And immediately the thought occurred, this isn't going to work. But I said, well, let's do it anyway. So I said, what color is it in my thumb? It was a bright crimson red. And it really hurt. So I went inside, what would be a better color? And the answer was a very light, watery blue. So I let the red change to, I think, purple, a reddish purple, then violet, slowly, then blue. I let the blue fade all the way to that light, watery blue. It took about 45, 60 seconds, and the pain was gone.
Wow.
Totally. And it didn't come back. Now, it was a bad burn. It blistered under the skin. It took it maybe 6 weeks to heal, but I never had any more pain from it. So that's a typical NLP, neuro-linguistic programming kind of intervention. And the words neuro-linguistic, it's basically using language to change things in your neurology. And like I say, it really, a lot of it is, NLP takes the form of, say, waking hypnosis, where the person doesn't appear to be in a deep trance or anything, but it's still a form of hypnosis. So let's see, who was driving?
Daniel.
Daniel, are
I
you?
think he's fallen off.
Okay.
Maybe he's transiting to his home.
Transiting with a TRANCE, itting. We hypnotists make all kinds of silly puns with the word trance. So I want to show you a blend of self-hypnosis and meditation. And if you want to experience this, go ahead. And otherwise, you can just listen without and keep yourself out of trance. So, and you'll be able to do this, by the way. In fact, well, with my clients, it's an assignment. So if you want to participate, get comfortable. And close your eyes. Kind of defocus your mind so you're not thinking about anything in particular. And take yourself inside and occupy all the space inside your body. Every place, every part, from the top of your head all the way down to your toes, all the way down to your fingertips. Even parts of you that you don't usually think about, like the back of your head, your left shoulder, your right elbow. The second finger on your left hand. Occupy those places all at the same time. Your right hip, your left calf, the instep on your left foot. Occupy all the places, every part of you inside your body, all at the same time. Some people get a sense of filling up with a wonderful, comfortable, hypnotic fluid. Some get a feeling of being saturated everywhere with a beautiful light that's shining inside of you, into every part of you. However you do it, get that sense of occupying all the space inside your body. And now get a sense of expansion, like you're a bubble, expanding out into the universe in all directions. Like you're a beautiful ball of energy shining way out into space, far beyond the limits of your physical body. And now double that feeling. Whatever you're feeling, just intensify it and spread it. And double it again. Let it fill you. And start saying to yourself in your mind over and over, I live with a happy heart, a peaceful mind, and a playful spirit. Over and over. I live with a happy heart, a peaceful mind, and a playful spirit. I'll let you do that by yourself for just a little bit. I live with a happy heart, a peaceful mind, and a playful spirit. And you might notice that your breathing has become slower and deeper and more regular. And your heartbeat perhaps has slowed down just a little. And you can control this state. So now take yourself deeper. Just allow it, let it happen. Drifting, floating, deeper, way deeper. Whenever you hear me say the word deeper in this context, or when you say it to yourself, deeper, you can feel yourself going deeper and deeper into this lovely state of trance. And notice as you go deeper how good this feels. Feel the contentment. Feel the pleasure and the comfort throughout your mind and your body. I live with a happy heart, a peaceful mind, and a playful spirit, over and over again. Now, bring yourself up so you're not quite so deep. Lighten your state And just let your eyes open if you can. Open your eyes. Close your eyes. Close them down. And once again, go deeper. Go deeper than you were before. You can go just as deep as you like. Drifting, floating, deeper, way deeper. The deeper you go, the better you feel. The deeper the contentment, the deeper the pleasure and the comfort throughout your mind and your body. And the better you feel, the deeper you can go. I live with a happy heart, a peaceful mind, and a playful spirit. Keep that up in your mind while you listen to the sound of my voice. I do this first thing in the morning when I'm waking up. And at night, when I'm about to go to sleep. And any time when I need a mental vacation or I'm about to start a new task or activity, I set my mental timer for, say, 2 or 3 minutes. I get comfortable. I close my eyes, defocus my mind, and I take myself inside, and I occupy all the space inside my body. Every place, every part, all at the same time. I get a sense of expansion, like I'm a balloon expanding out into the universe in all directions. Now double that feeling, going deeper. Double it again, going even deeper. So that every cell, every molecule is dancing in harmony. And start saying to yourself in your mind over and over, I live with a happy heart, a peaceful mind, and a playful spirit, over and over. And keep that up in your mind for the amount of time that you had set for yourself. And when that time is up and you're ready to come back, shout to yourself in your mind, I deserve to be happy, healthy, and successful. And then whenever you're ready, bring yourself back, all the way back to everyday time, space, and awareness, back to your room. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. I'll just give you a moment to come back. Would anybody like to share that experience?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So I use this app called Headspace, and it's a meditation app. And a lot of this reminded me of that, actually. How would meditation or guided meditation essentially be a form of hypnosis?
Yes, I would agree with that. Yeah, guided meditation is certainly a form of hypnosis. Meditation is pretty much usually a form of self-hypnosis. You're taking yourself into an altered state and then using that altered state to have the results that you want. Anybody want to share? Just speak up. Yeah, go ahead, Cindy.
Oh, I had a really challenging situation that happened to me today, but I had meditated this morning and I got in a good headspace and I've been writing out all kinds of gratitude. So I found out that my position at work was being eliminated, but I already was telling myself, oh, it's just clearing myself for the next best thing, da 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 da. But after this with you, I'm floating with I'm so excited about what's next. I mean, I really am. I mean, really, I'm ecstatic right now.
That's lovely.
It really, yeah. Thank you so much, Donald.
Yeah. Anyone else?
It was really soothing. And it was really easy following your guidance to go deeper and to fully sort of embrace where you were taking us.
Mm-hmm.
So I found it really lovely, and I look forward to seeing the fruits of it. And I wonder how you might use it to help people with PTSD or other things to overcome, to be relieved of things that seem hard to be relieved of.
Mm-hmm. Okay, anybody else? Okay, let me share my screen here. So can you all see this? Yes? No? Okay.
Yes.
So I call
Yes.
this the zone. And I recommend doing this at least 3 times a day, 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes at a time. So it can be short. It doesn't, you can do it longer, but 2 or 3 minutes is good. I usually do it when I wake up. It's nice to use to go to sleep. When you're going to sleep, don't put a time limit. Just take yourself into the zone, as I say, with the intention of staying there. And you will pass into sleep at some point, especially if that's your intention. The steps are here. We actually did it twice, or did most of it twice. I don't know whether you noticed that or not. The mantra: I live with a happy heart, a peaceful mind, and a playful spirit. Happy, peaceful, playful. It's okay if you get them mixed up. But playful spirit is really important. We sometimes have to deal with heavy things in our lives. But even then, it's important to maintain a certain lightness, a playful spirit, because otherwise you just get bogged down in seriosity. Now you can vary the mantra. If you're going to sleep, you can say, I sleep with a happy heart, a peaceful mind, and a playful spirit, or I dream. I had this client once, he said, if I do this first thing in the morning, why don't I just go back to sleep? I said, okay, say I wake with a happy heart, a peaceful mind, and a playful spirit. That seemed to satisfy him. This is what I work with, help people stop smoking. I have them say, I live smoke-free with a happy heart, a peaceful mind, and a playful spirit. And sometimes I do something called core transformation with people, which is another NLP technique. You can write that down, core transformation. But when you do core transformation, you access very high level spiritual or existential states like love, oneness, beingness. There's a bunch of them that the names aren't important, but fulfillment. So if somebody had reached the state of love, I might have them say, I am love, with a happy heart, a peaceful mind, a playful spirit. If that's their core state. I realize I'm getting way ahead of myself, but so what I'll do is I'll send this. I'll send this handout to Reverend Alice, and then if you want it, you can get it from her. Does that sound good? As people do this, just this, they change in positive ways, sometimes unexpected ways, but always positive. So, for instance, I was working, this is a couple of years ago, with a young woman who's a student at University of Maryland, Chinese, from China, 20 years old, very anxious. She was in a strange country, speaking English most of the time. She was anxious about her schoolwork. She had an American boyfriend. She was anxious about that. And she said that there were mice in the air conditioner in her dorm room, and they wouldn't do anything about it. So I taught her this. She comes back a few days later, and I said, "How's it going?" She says, "I've been having these bouts of happiness for no apparent reason." And then she says, "And the mice are gone too." As you practice, this will get easier and faster, and you'll be able to take yourself deeper, which can be kind of fun. At the bottom of the handout are a couple links. One is to a YouTube video, pretty much what we just did. And another is to a shorter form, which is an audio. It's more like what you'll actually do. But now let's just practice for a moment. So get comfortable and close your eyes. Defocus your mind, take yourself inside and occupy all the space inside your body. Just go back to where you were a few minutes ago. And start saying to yourself in your mind over and over, "I live with a happy heart, a peaceful mind, and a playful spirit." Over and over. I'll just let you do that for half a minute or so. I live with a happy heart, a peaceful mind, and a playful spirit. And you can get that sense of expansion while you're doing it. And now shout to yourself in your mind, "I deserve to be happy, healthy, and successful." And whenever you're ready, bring yourself all the way back to everyday time, space, and awareness. And open your eyes. So this is kind of I just consider it a neural reset. And doing it several times a day, just this can make a big difference. And it's also when it's helpful for somebody to be in hypnosis in one of my sessions, it's a gateway to hypnosis. So I don't know if you've experienced hypnosis before, you might have experienced an induction. This is usually my induction. And once somebody's used to doing this, I'll just say, close your eyes, get comfortable, take yourself into the zone, and nod to me when you're there. I'll wait until they're nod, and then off we go. That's usually how I do hypnosis. So I'll pause. There's some more. Let's see, what time is it? Yeah. Are there more questions or comments?
I do actually. My name is
Yeah.
Lenise.
Hi, Lenise.
I do. I have been doing meditation for about a year and a half, and I have been doing self-hypnosis, like the videos and things like that. And I found to be very helpful. but I have a problem with resistance.
Uh-huh.
And like, there's some things that when I do and say, I feel really good about. And some others, when I say it, and I think that's something I have to work with or find somebody that can help me work with. I feel like there's a resistance, like I can't go there. Like I don't reach the point where I want to be. So I'm wondering, like, it's just the practice of it. Eventually, I'll reach, the goal, or is something else I should be working on that might help me reach that goal?
Mm-hmm. Possibly both.
Okay. All right.
So one of the things, one of the concepts in NLP, and it's not unique to NLP, it's a notion of parts that each of us have within us, different aspects to our psyche or even our physical being, parts. So, you might say, well, a part of me wants that chocolate cake, but a part of me really wants to be fit and slim. And so that's the kind of way we use parts. So one of the things I do, and you can see this on my website, I should put it in the chat. Hold on. www hypnosis. Yeah, that's my website. But one of the things I do, and I mentioned it briefly, is called core transformation. So if I were doing that with you, Lenice, I would ask you, we would say that it seems like there's a part of you that is making it difficult for you to go into hypnosis or self-hypnosis, right? And it's a part of you, it's not all of you. You have lots of other parts. So I would have you, and you don't need to do it now, but I would have you welcome that part into your awareness and actually thank it for being there, because we have to be nice to our parts. And then I would have you go inside and ask the part, what do you want? And the part might say, and I'm guessing, might say something, well, let's just see. Close your eyes. Welcome that part of you that you described as resistance. Just welcome it into your awareness and go inside and ask it, what do you want? And just let the part answer. You don't have to figure it out. And when you get an answer, tell me what it says. What do you want? Might be the first thing that pops into your head. What did it say?
Recognition.
Okay. So that's how we start with core transformation. And then we would ask the part, when you have recognition, then what do you want through recognition? It's even deeper or more important. And we keep iterating that question.
Okay.
Eventually you get to something like I mentioned before, a high level spiritual or existential state of being. So it might be love, it might be oneness, it might be wholeness, it might just be okayness. There are lots of but it's a state of being. It's not a feeling, or it's not like self-love or anything like that. It's a state of being. Some of my core states have been beingness. Nothingness was one for me, and one part wanted godness. And you can think of it as what the part ultimately wants. Like a part that's responsible for smoking. The part might want you to relax, okay? But if you keep going with that question, when you have that, what do you want through that? It will get to one of these high-level states. And then you reverse it, you turn it around. You invite the part just to step into that state from the start, and just notice how that changes things. Now, of course, there's a lot more to it than that, and so that's one way to work with it. That's one way to work with it. And the nice thing is there isn't any resistance. I mean, you're just having a conversation with that part of you. Even if the part, sometimes people don't get an answer, and that's because there's another part that's interfering. So you work with that part. So another thing, so okay, so that, I don't know if that answers your questions. Did other people have questions or comments?
It does, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay.
Donald, would you also provide the information for that series of inquiries as well?
For which, for
what you just went through?
There are examples. So I think the best way to answer that is on my on my YouTube channel. And my YouTube channel is Hypnosis. So go on YouTube and just type in the search, type in Hypnosis Silver Spring. So there is a full Zoom session with a young woman. I forget what her issue was. I think it was either, it was around COVID and the whole situation. It was either anger or anxiety around it. So you can actually see the process there. And if you look up core transformation on YouTube, you can see other people, other examples. So it's probably the best way to do that. Yeah. I've been using it since I started almost 14 years ago. And it is just, I use it with myself, I use it with my clients. The other thing that I use a lot, so it's 8:26. Could I go another 10 or 15 minutes? Would that be okay?
Group, where are you?
I see one thumb up. Okay. No,
yes,
okay.
Yes.
Okay, good. So I want to show you something called wholeness. So to start out, I want you to notice that everything, pretty much everything has a location. Everything in our world, in our external world, certainly. I mean, there's our dishes are in a certain cabinet, our silverware, our clothes, my underwear is in a certain drawer, my socks are in another drawer. And that's also true of internal, in our inner world. So close your eyes for a moment. I want you to think about someone you like or love. Just think about that person for a moment. And notice when you think about them, where are they? Or where is that, either the image, where's the picture you have of them, or maybe a sense of where is that energy? So open your eyes and tell me, if you want, what you found. Where is that sense? Where is that person, or that representation of that person? Cindy, it was in your heart? Mm-hmm. Who else?
Mine was in the higher heart.
In the higher heart, okay.
Mm-hmm. And Cindy,
Barb?
I watched you put your hand there too.
Yeah. Barb? Okay, and it kind of looks like in the heart too. Anybody else? Denise?
Yes, in the high heart.
In the high heart, okay. Now, close your eyes again and think of somebody you're not so fond of. Either somebody you feel indifferent to, or maybe even that, God forbid, you don't like too much. And notice that image or that energy. Now open your eyes, and if anybody wants, tell me or show us where that was.
Stomach.
Stomach.
Yes.
Stomach, okay. It'll be different for different people, but it's a different location, right? It's a different location from. So these are, you could say these are ways that your brain or your spirit codes these things. And it has a location. Okay, so close your eyes. We're closing our eyes a lot tonight. And I want you to scan your body. And just notice something. You might become aware of maybe a heaviness or a tightness somewhere, or a warmth or coolness somewhere inside of you. Or it could just be the sensation of your bottom resting on the chair. I'll give you a minute for that. Okay, and now I want you to notice, has everybody got something? Okay, now I want you to notice that sensation. Notice how big it is. And the shape of it. And now go inside and notice what kind of quality it has. And by that I mean, is it warm? Is it cold? Cool? Is it tight? Is it light? Is it airy? Is it rubbery? Is it dense or brittle? Just notice. Now, open your eyes, and can someone just tell me what you found and what were the shape, size, and quality?
I found stuff in my head behind my eyes and cheeks that felt like kind of like electrical and jagged and vibrating.
Okay, great. Somebody else? Did everybody find something? Okay. Cindy, where was yours? You're muted.
It was my hand, and it was feeling warm and tight because I kind of resting on it. So it was that sensation of, warm.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Yeah, Barb. We can't hear you.
My lower back on my left side. And it actually was very solid, like almost angular, like a board.
Okay. Okay, so here's what I'd like you to do. I want you to go back to that sensation and sense into it and through it. You could say, I am aware of this sensation in my lower back or my hand or wherever it is, behind my eyes. I am aware of it, capital I. And now I want you to notice where that I is, or where's the perceiving happening from. So when I do it, I have this kind of sensation in my stomach. It's kind of, about the size of a small, kind of a large apple. And it's round and kind of mushy. When I sense into it and I say, I am aware of this sensation in my stomach, where is the I that's aware of it? Or where is the perceiving happening from? And I'm getting this sensation kind of in the front of my face, kind of around my nose, maybe where my sinuses are, but I'm just getting a sensation there. So if you were able to find the I or where the perceiving is happening from, just let us unmute yourself and tell us.
Mine is the back of my head around the occipital area.
Good. Thank you. Anybody else? Denise, you about to say something?
Yeah, mine is around my mouth, my lips.
Isn't that interesting?
It's really strange.
Yeah. Rachel, were you about to say something?
Yes, mine was my sinuses. So it alarmed me at the end when you said it was sinuses. So like the other ones, when you said a good person, I had in my like left rear, like the sinus behind your eye. For the bad person, I had my lower right jaw. And then when you said to try to sense something later, it was little cylinders in my front sinuses. And then in the last thing, it was sinuses as well, but I have no sinus problems. So.
Yeah, okay. I'll tell you a story about that in a moment, about sinuses. Anybody else? Were you able to find the I? And if you can't, that's fine. We're going awfully fast. And with a client in my office or over Zoom, I take a much longer time to help them. Joe, did you?
Yeah, I was going to say, I sensed it someplace deep within my head where I would think my pineal gland is, but I wasn't thinking that. I was just saying, where was that?
Right. Okay.
I interpreted it that way.
Okay. So now I want to talk about awareness. So if I make a sound, you're aware of it instantly. You don't have to try, you don't have to think about it, you don't have to do anything, it just happens. Or if there was a sound behind you, it'd be the same thing. You're aware of all the space inside your body, and also you're aware of all the space around you, above, below, and that awareness extends out, way out in all directions. We don't know how far it goes, but we do know there's no boundary or edge to it. You can think of it as a vast field of awareness that's all around and throughout. Really, awareness, you could say, is the capacity to notice or perceive. Okay. So now, go back to that perceiving that you found, back to that I, if you found it. And if you didn't, don't worry. And close your eyes. Just notice what happens when you invite the sensation of this I to open, relax, dissolve, melt in and as the full field of awareness that's all around and throughout. And just invite that to happen. You don't really have to do anything. Just notice as it happens and enjoy the feelings that come. If you feel the sensation of relaxing or melting or dissolving, just enjoy that. That's right, it's the I. And if nothing happens, that's fine. If the I, just let it open, relax, dissolve, melt in and as the full field of awareness that's all around and throughout. And when you feel that, if and when you feel that's complete, just open your eyes and maybe wave your hand at me. Mm-hmm. Give it a little while longer. I can tell you that when I work with people, this takes anywhere from 30 seconds to an hour. Yeah, I've had people sit there for an hour. I'll tell you that story in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Joe, you want to share your experience with that?
I found it very freeing. I could feel the expansion, and it just brought me joy.
Mm-hmm. Cindy?
Very relaxed, very at ease.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else? Yeah, Carol.
I loved how non-intellectual it was.
Yes, it's purely somatic.
Yeah, and being somatic, the resistance is far lower for me, and it was very nice.
Anybody else?
My
Yeah,
spot,
Barb?
my I am spot
Uh-huh.
was rather firm, and it became soft, and I could just feel it expanding, but it was really spreading really wide.
So let me tell you some ways. This is called wholeness. I'll type it in the chat. And then Andreas is the person who developed it, Connie Ray Andreas. If you type wholeness Andreas into YouTube, you'll see. So I use this a lot, and a lot of times I'll start with a feeling or an emotion, like somebody was angry or frustrated or hurt or sad or happy, if you like. So I'll get them to re-experience that, and then I'll ask, where do you feel it? And from that point on, so, they'll say, oh, it's in my chest, it's in my gut. Sometimes it's up here, it doesn't have to be in the body. And then so once we get on that level, Carol, it's completely sensations. How big is it? What's the size and shape? And then where's the eye that's aware of that? Where's the perceiving happening from? And then sometimes we'll need to do a chain of them, sensing into that eye. Where's the eye that's aware of that? So there's might be more than one eye, might be several of them. Then we invite the last one to integrate, to open, relax, dissolve, melt into all of awareness. And if there's more than one eye, we go back down the chain, inviting each one in reverse order, and then the original sensation. Then we go back to the feeling or emotion or the situation. And I'll ask, now being this way, what's it like when you remember that person doing whatever they were doing or whatever, you were angry at? And the typical reaction is, oh, I don't care about that anymore. That doesn't bother me. I worked once with this woman who was stuttering. And I asked her to get the feeling she gets when she's trying to get out a word or a phrase. And I said, where is it? She says, it's in my throat. So I asked her, we went through the process. How big is it? What's the shape, size, and the quality? That's important. And then where is the I that's aware of that? The perceiving self. She found that when she invited that to open, relax, dissolve, melt, and then the original sensation, she comes back a week later and she says, well, I'm still stuttering, but I don't care about it anymore. Actually, she was stuttering less. And what seems to have happened was that somebody who stutters is constantly monitoring their vocal output. They're thinking, am I going to be able to say this? Is this going to come out right? And she had largely stopped doing that because she didn't care about it anymore. The stuttering was less, and over the next few weeks, it got less and less until it was gone. So it's just one example. Now, to get back to the sinuses. I do this at night sometimes when I'm, to help me go to sleep. So I'll notice, and so I'm lying in bed, but I'm trying to breathe through my nose because I'm a habitual mouth breather. And that's not, you know, you get bad taste in your mouth and it dries out. So I'm trying to breathe through my nose, but my sinuses are a little congested. So I'll sense into that, take that as my initial sensation. Then I'll ask, it's kind of spongy and it's up here. And I'll say, where's the eye? Where's the perceiver that's aware of that? And it could be anywhere, but typically it's somewhere on one side or the other, in the back of my head, or even outside of my head. So I invite that to open, relax, dissolve, melt in an as all of awareness. And then the idea for going to sleep is you just stay there. Let that happen. But as that happens, a lot of the time I'll notice my sinuses are draining. And I'm able to breathe through my nose. So how does that happen? I don't know. But I mean, I have my notions, but so that's wholeness. So questions, observations, reactions. And then I think that's probably enough for tonight.
I have a question.
Yes, Carol.
I mean, first of all, this has all just been real super lovely and interesting. With the Chinese college student, what do you attribute the mice going away to? Just what vibration happened?
It was in her head. There weren't any mice.
There weren't any mice?
No. I mean, the mice were something she was imagining. So it was once she started doing the zone regularly, they just kind of went away. I'm not saying you can get rid of any mice this way. but her mice went away. Yeah, anybody else? Okay, let's see. So what I'm going to do, I'll send the handout for the zone to Reverend Alice, and because I have her email, and it's been a great pleasure to be with you, and I'll look forward.
Donald,
yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
So, Donald, thank you so much. It was incredibly informative, very useful to folks. Anyone that wants to communicate with Donald in the chat, let him know what you're thinking, feeling. If there were some things that you wanted to communicate, please go ahead and put that in the chat for him to be able to see. And Donald, you should be able to read all of that as a co-host. Okay. And as you know, folks, those of you who have been a part of the service in the past, we say a prayer at the end. We've got 16 people and we're way past our time. So with your permission, what I'd like to do is what Wanda has often done, where we all put our prayers in together at once. For those of you who have never been a part of the service, we pray for, we put in our prayer request for anyone that we want to be held in prayer, including ourselves. We're going to certainly thank, as a part of the prayer, Donald for coming and sharing his wisdom and knowledge with us tonight. And I'll hold the space for about 15 seconds so that all of us can share, and Spirit, as you know, can hear it all. And then I will say a prayer after that. So, by all means, please share. Let the universe hear your prayers. And you want to unmute yourselves, please do.
Amen. Molly, my neighbor, lost her father today.
Everybody else?
A certain minister who I know. I hope he's able to straighten things out.
All the M family?
My entire family, but especially my parents, they're going through a very difficult time right now. My dad is really ill.
All my co-workers who are going through a lot of pain and anxiety due to the structure reorg in my office, and my beloved, my mother, my father, my son and his wife, and my father and his wife.
My friend Elizabeth, my family, and for Zen, Rocky, and Gypsy, and all who are suffering at this time.
Thank you for Donald this evening. Thank you for blessing each of the people that have come to us tonight. We raise our vibration, bring our guides and angels and masters together. We invoke the Holy I Am, the highest source of light, the masters, the guides. And we bring ourselves together as one. Thank you for being one with us. Come for our highest good, highest healing, highest purpose, and highest truth. Ground us, center us, clear, balance, connect and align each of those that are here tonight. Some have come with a heavy heart, burdens. Clear these thoughts, feelings, beliefs. Open their mind. Give them wisdom to use the guidance that we've received tonight. Open those creative channels even further. Bringing our unconscious to consciousness. And blow out. Bless each and every one that's here tonight, their soul groups, and each of the people that they will touch this week. Have us be a blessing to others. Be with those who are suffering from COVID. Heal their bodies, their minds, their spirits. Bring peace to our world, Source. Thank you. Guide us this week. Filled with love and light. Thank you. Blessings. Well, thank you for coming out. It's interesting, Donald. You've teed things up for me. I'm actually presenting next week on how to heal yourself and using words to speak blessing on your life. And it's interesting, anybody that's ever heard me, first thing and last thing is the key ways to reprogram yourself. And there's a lot of research out there that shows that that's the way to change your mind and heal yourself. So that's next week, and I'm excited about sharing that. And then on April 12th, Fern Wolf is coming back. Change your vibration, change your life. She's amazing. She comes to us from Canada. And for those of you who have heard her, she's just a joy to be with us. So thank you all. There's Donald's contact information is in the chat. And Donald, come back. We loved it. Appreciate all that you've given to us.
Okay, thank you for thank Reverend Alice for inviting me, and it's been a real pleasure, and I'd be glad to come back sometime.
Thank you, folks, for coming out.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Wendy.
And you're welcome
You are
to
so
communicate
welcome.
with me if you like.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Donald. That was awesome.